Thank you, Beach Pizza Game, for letting me know that I was muted on the stream. I think I'm good for the audio version. So, Max, welcome. No one could hear me introduce. Max, I don't think I can hear you either. Say
Can you
something.
hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
I saw your mouth move. For anyone that didn't hear, Liz at Liz Gains EXP, welcome back. Nettie at Nettie Dorco, good to have you back. Also, Nick at Official No Friendo. It's been a few weeks.
Hello.
It's good to have
It
you
has.
back.
Thank
And
you
we
for
have
having me on.
a lot of fresh faces this week. It's good. And then a newbie. We got Shibby at Shibby120. Welcome.
What's up?
How you doing?
Good. How y'all doing?
Doing very good. Thanks. I know it was kind of last minute. We got you on this week. It's good to have you. For anyone that doesn't know, I put his link in the description of both the live stream and the audio version. Shibita has a YouTube channel, mostly Switch focused. If you want to introduce yourself further, go for it.
Shibby120 on YouTube, Twitch, and Instagram. Unboxings for Nintendo Switch stuff on YouTube, and a lot of Animal Crossing stuff on Instagram. That's what I do.
Nice. Well, it's great to have you. Thanks for being here. We're going to get right into discussing what we've been playing, what we've picked up this week or recently, since most of you, except for I think Max, you're the only one that was on last week. So anything in the recent past, it is all fair game. So Liz, we'll start with you. What have you been playing lately, and what did you pick up?
I've been playing mostly indie games right now. I've been playing Rogue Heroes, Ruins of Essos. Sorry. But yeah, that's like an action RPG that's kind of like Zelda-ish. So that one's cute. Lots of grinding, but it's addicting. I'm playing Trine 4 with Nettie and Kizis, and that one has been a lot of fun. It's a great like game to co-op and stuff. I started playing Children of Morta last night, which is like an action RPG, like dungeon crawly kind of game, and it's pretty cool. You can play like a bunch of different family members. You unlock them over time, but they each have like their own skill tree and stuff, so it's cool. And then I haven't started playing it yet, but Nettie keeps telling me to play Survivalist. I did pick that up.
Nice.
So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. I've been seeing your streams, especially with Trine 4. I've been trying to hop in when I can. It looks like a fun game that you guys are playing together. Max, what about you? What have you been up to?
So I've not had the chance to really play much games this week. I've been playing a game in real life called House Hunting, and it sucks. So I've been looking at a lot of houses this week.
Nice.
That's basically my week. I did play a little bit of Ghost Runner. That was it. But
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Max, I was depending on you to have a big, long, drawn out 10 game buying week and all your analysis of like obscure Nintendo games. It's okay though.
Next week I will have a lot of games. Next
Nice.
week I'll have a lot of games. Going on vacation next week.
Get a house.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, you're going to the that expo down south.
Yep.
Nice. Nettie at Nettie Dorco. Good to have you back. What have you been up to this week or the last couple weeks?
I don't know. I feel like it's been so long, but I've been playing Trine 4 with Liz on her stream. I've also been playing Little Nightmares on the side. I tend to not play quiet games on my stream because it doesn't match my energy level.
Yeah.
Like my husband always tells me, he's like, you shouldn't play quiet games. I'm like, why? Because it's meant to be like nice and peaceful, and here you are like nonstop talking. So here I am, like, okay, fine, well, I'll play Little Nightmares off stream now. And then I've been playing Survivalist. I play that one on stream because it's kind of like a mixture of Valheim and Stardew Valley, like everything that's bad and that you would spend hours on end, all combined into one game. And then I also play this one game. I'm trying to actually I'm trying to be a completionist for once. But it's called Pilgrims. It's like a 45-minute like puzzle-like game, and it's only like $2.99 on stream, I think, or on Steam.
Yeah.
And in terms of pickups, I kind of went crazy during the Steam sale, so I can't even tell you what I bought. You'd probably have to just really stock my Steam to see what games I bought, but I bought over like 10 games.
Nice. That's awesome. I know you always your Discord always has a bunch of like I think you have a bot that just like shouts out like good like free games or whatever. Yeah.
So then I would add everyone whenever there's something new,
Really,
just
yeah,
to let
really
them know
good.
that something's free. Yeah.
You're good with the like the indie Steam games too. You're on top of that.
Yes.
On the top of that stuff. Nick at official no friendo. Good to have you back, man. What have you been up to this week?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me back on. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
So I picked up a couple new games. The Tony Hawk for Switch, and then also the Master Collection, Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which is it's been fun to revisit those games for sure.
Yeah.
And having it portable is really nice. I love it. So I've been playing mostly that, and then going back and forth to some older titles because my backlog is just crazy. So revisiting Golf Story again has been really fun because I'm excited for the new. I can't remember the name of the title. Is it like Sports Story or something?
Yeah, Sports Story.
That's going to be the
story.
Right. So
Aaron,
revisiting that
in
again
chat-
because it really.
Aaron in chat's been obsessed ever since they announced that.
Yeah. I can't wait for it too. It's really fun. It feels like you're playing a Super Nintendo game. It really does. Just the whole environment about it, and so yeah, revisiting that a little bit, but that's
Nice.
about it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought Golf Story because Aaron at Beach Pizza Gaming, he's a regular, and he swears by it, but I have not touched it. I bought it like on deep discount, and then I bought a bunch of other games, so it's just still sitting on my Switch digitally. That I need to actually play
it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Everyone swears by it, so I'm excited to at some point dive in. I have a huge backlog right now. I'm only making it worse.
Yeah.
Shibby, what have you been up to for the last however many X weeks that you want to disclose? any big
For
pickups?
all of the weeks that all the weeks that haven't been on here, man, I'm gonna count back. So Ocarina of Time when I was in the 6th grade. No, I can actually relate to all of you because like I've been apartment hunting as well. I do like the survivalist. I need to jump on that. Rogue Heroes, I heard DLC just came out for that, I think. Children of Morta slaps as well. So yeah, I'm liking what I'm hearing. I've been playing obviously Tony Hawk. Like that just came out for Switch. Got to play that, and then just been kind of jumping around a lot, running back to Crash Bandicoot 4 and Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley. Try to get back into Stardew Valley because it's been a while. So
Nice. That's
really
awesome.
jumping around.
Yeah, sweet. I had a ton of pickups last week, and so if you didn't see them, I finally picked up Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Mario Golf, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, Star Wars Pinball, Civilization 6, Burnout Paradise Remastered, Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit Remastered. I got all those last week. This week I picked up Wonderful 101. I haven't opened it yet, and then also I haven't opened his SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. I know Max.
Yes!
Max,
That's an awesome game.
My son has
I
been
love that game
requesting this every time. He's like, "That's the game I want," and it was on sale at GameStop for $15.99, and so I finally pulled the trigger and went and picked it up. And I got those, and then I'm kind of obsessed with this. It came in today. I got the purple 2DS XL. And,
Ooh, nice.
From Nintendo's refurb
That's
shop.
pretty.
It's very clean. It looks like it hasn't even been touched, and so
Wow.
I got jumped
OEM?
on. What?
It's OEM.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
made that way.
through Nintendo. They released a
Oh, that's
couple
cool.
more on their site. Toaster Dog, another regular on he usually drops in links whenever there's these really quick like sales on Nintendo's refurb site, and so because of him I was able to get two regular 2DSs, the Ocarina of Time and the red and white one. Those were only $50, and then the 2DS XL for $99. And so
Wow.
I'm trying to keep up because I don't know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm gonna do something.
Huh.
And
Wait, you got that 2DS XL on Nintendo's website for $99? You said.
yeah,
Wow,
they were only live for like 3 minutes, and I managed to land one.
Yeah.
It was one of those like rapid drops. They had very limited quantities, and I just happened to get on there. I know Neandervander is very, very jealous of my purple 2DS XL.
Yeah, I bet he is. He's got a lot of them.
I want to go back and collect some like older portables.
Yeah, I've been trying to. I really like portables, and so I'm trying to build up a small collection. I have a bunch of PSPs I have a Game Gear that I need to recap, and I just got something else. I don't remember. I got a new white PSP, but anyway, moving on. We're gonna jump into the news this week. Our main topic tonight is obviously the Switch OLED, so that's part of news. So we're gonna get into news right now with a few topics before that. You guys can't hear the music. Only I can.
Oh, I was gonna go like I was gonna be like.
Oh. So yeah, sorry, I meant to tell you guys because it was new last week of the news little whatever stinger thing that I did for last week. So the state of play for Sony's PlayStation was today. It was headlined with Deathloop, a Bethesda Arcane game, ironically, and I watched all of that. Some of the other highlights were Moss Book 2 for the PSVR, Arcadegeddon, which is, I think, is that the one? No, that's going into early access, right? Yeah, and then Hunter's Arena Legends, which is like a fighting battle royale, but that's going to be on PS Plus next month. And then Jet, The Far Shore, a bunch of indies, and then Lost Judgment from Sega, Death Stranding Director's Cut, which we should probably talk about, and then ended with Deathloop. Did anyone watch this today with me? Nope.
I was house hunting. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I didn't watch.
I watched I watched the recap that PlayStation Corner put up. It looked like there was a lot of. I'm not a big PlayStation guy, so I was surprised. There was a lot of cartoony looking games, I thought.
Yeah, they leaned heavy, and they said that they were doing a lot of indies, and so I was surprised. Very cartoony. I was talking to someone that this Arcadegeddon. It kind of looks like that old '90s computer generated cartoon. What was it called, like Reboot or whatever? It kind of has that vibe to it.
It reminds me of Osmosis Jones.
Yes, definitely.
You guys remember that?
Yeah, with all like the blue characters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like they put a lot of emphasis on this Hunter's Arena Legends, which it just isn't really my cup of tea.
Was it the battle royale?
Yeah,
one,
the battle royale that's free for PlayStation Plus. It just looks, it kind of has this weird identity crisis where they're like, you can dress your character up with rubber ducks and afros, and but then everything else is like very, very like fantasy, like dark fantasy, and so it was kind of strange. And then Jet is like this very strange little adventure game where you fly around in a little jet exploring this alien world, and couldn't quite get a grasp of what that, because there was also some first person shooter stuff, or not shooter, first person exploration. And then Lost Judgment was, a lot of these games we've seen before. We've seen Lost Judgment before. We've obviously seen Death Stranding, which is anyone a Death Stranding? I know Max, you're a Death Stranding fan. Anyone else big on Death Stranding? Anyone else play it? I didn't play it.
I've never even played it.
Yeah, me either. But it looks like they push hard on new like combat stuff and new like ways to lessen the grind of this game. I've heard that like chugging along through like miles of like real space, it gets kind of draggy, and so it seems like they've tried to enhance that experience a little bit, which I'm intrigued by. Maybe this is something that I can get into. The combat looks like they've done a big push. And then
I feel like the fan base was kind of I feel like people were divided on that game when it first came out. Like you either really liked it or you just kind of looked boring to you.
yeah,
But like the DLC they're coming out with looks cool. I mean, it makes it look like they're actually adding something substantial to it, which is cool.
yeah, and it's interesting with these director's cuts that they're doing, where they're like
Double dipping, man.
it's a very Nintendo move, between Death Stranding director's cut and then Ghost of Tsushima director's cut. Like it seems like the Ghost of Tsushima one is a little bit more of, but then they're adding, it's like $30 to do the PS5 upgrade with the expansion. So
if you have a PlayStation 4 disc that's Ghost of Tsushima, put it in your PS5 and update it, you have to pay $30, right?
$30 to have the expansion with the update. You can pay $20 and you can play the PS4 version of the update of the expansion. But to get the full PS5, it's $10 difference between full PS4 and full PS5 of the game and expansion. And so I just bought Ghost of Tsushima for PS4 for $30 when it was on sale. So it's going to end up costing me $60 if I want to play it natively on my PS5. I didn't even say what I've been playing this week. I'd only talked about my pickups. But I've been playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Mario Golf. What game did I beat? Since I lost it. I've been playing Link's Awakening. I beat Mario Golf, the adventure mode, and then I finally turned on my PS5 for the first time in like a month, and I'm trying to finish Miles Morales because I put that on hold for like way too long. So, and then Deathloop. What
is Death Stranding? Are they doing like a upgrade if you own the PS4 version of the game to get the PS5 version?
You know what? They didn't say anything about that. I might have missed it. Let me see what it's saying. The PS5 edition will launch for $50. If you already own the PS4 version of Death Stranding, the update is $10. So it doesn't look like there's any expansion. It's just like added like quality of life improvements.
aren't they adding a racetrack or something?
Yeah, I saw the racetrack, and then there are some like new like bosses. It looks like, but it looks like it's just like the story is essentially the same. They're adding some features into it.
Yeah.
I saw that they're adding the Half-Life and Cyberpunk content from the PC versions onto the PS5 version. That's the only thing I saw about that. Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing. I never played Death Stranding, so it always intrigued me. But as soon as people were saying like it's slow and everything, I'm like that's like poison to me because I will never ever finish something like that unless it's super engaging. Then the last thing is, I keep hitting the wrong button on here. Sorry stream for keep blasting the news music to you. Deathloop, they had a really cool little vertical slice of one of the like bosses. Like you have to kill 8 of the like, I forgot what they call them. They're essentially like bosses, and they had a little slice of you assassinating one of them, and it looked like a good time. The weapons and the just overall gameplay was pretty cool. Did anyone watch that little clip? It was actually pretty long. It was probably half the whole thing.
I went ahead and looked it up. I went ahead and watched it because I was always a big Dishonored fan. So this is essentially, it's the same development team. It's basically Dishonored gameplay, like however many years later, but with like a Deathloop shtick to it. Yeah, it looks really good. But I will say, I'm glad it's coming out soon because we have seen so many trailers on it by now, and every trailer is virtually the same, which kind of proves to me like they don't have any other tricks up their sleeve. It's like, but by now we just need to play it and check it out. Yeah, there's probably gonna be some twists in the story and some other weird, cool powers. But like other than that, it's like, hey, I think we've seen the game now.
I feel like there's either a lot of stuff that they're hiding that they don't want to give away, or there's not a lot more to it than than what they've shown. Like it could be. I mean, it's like roguelike with the regen and runs and everything, and
I think
so
two
it
things
could be
that-
really short.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It could just be a really short loop. Like it just takes, because they're like, it's several hours into the game and you're going after this one guy. It could be one of those games where once you beat it, you could probably run through it in like 30 minutes or something.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
A lot faster.
Yeah.
The speed runs will be really funny.
Yeah.
But I think a couple things that were revealed in the trailer, and I don't know if this was already known or not, but like that kind of did, like you said, I think they'll be showing some more things in the future, like playing with the formula, like the fact that, like, yes, when you die, you have to restart the loop, but they showed there's a power where you can actually, when you die, you can reverse time a little bit. Like you get to do it twice.
Yeah.
Before using it, and like the enemies called it out, and they're like, "I thought we already killed you."
Yeah, that was a cool.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that. Then you can go like get your like aura from your dead body and like regain something. That was like weapons or something. There was a benefit to going and finding your like.
Yeah, you can get your body, but
yeah.
then you can also you can retain some of your weapon. There's something you could do. Maybe that was it, where you could keep your weapon. So yeah, they do have that strict formula, but it would be cool to see how. Okay, you can upgrade powers to maybe kind of circumvent the mechanics a little bit. So
yeah, no, definitely.
It'll be cool to see.
I'm intrigued.
Don't be the last Bethesda game on PlayStation, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, definitely the last timed exclusive on PlayStation. But it seems like they're pretty dead set on having everything only on Xbox moving forward. It seems like that was just something that got caught up post. The contract was already signed and
they got lucky,
ink dried when Microsoft was moving in for the acquisition.
They also have Ghostwire Tokyo. That's another Bethesda game.
Oh yeah,
be exclusive.
Is that coming soon?
I get it was assumed that it would come out this year, but we've heard nothing about the game, so it's assumed it'll be next year.
Oh, God, sorry guys.
Oh wow.
I keep triggering the breaking news little clip and it keeps playing, so I'm sorry. It's not going to be on the audio version, just the stream. So all right, it's time for the big boy, the Nintendo Switch OLED model. I made a video on this. When was it announced? Tuesday. I made a video Tuesday night and put it out, and so I'm going to probably rehash a lot of the things that I went over in that video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I want to dive deep. I want to get all your guys's opinions on it and what you think, if you're gonna get it, if you're not gonna get it, if you hate it, if you love it, you think it's the best thing ever, what you thought about the rumors, about the performance boost, all of this. Anyone can go. I'm opening the floor up. Whoever wants to jump in.
I said the Switch Pro didn't exist, so I think I was kind of right in the end. I just want to point that out.
I think I'm leaning on over to Max too. Yeah. Honestly, whatever he said in previous episodes, like
I'm laughing at all of you guys saying
I'm not picking it up.
I'll be the first to admit that I think I like chuckled really hard when you said like I don't think the Switch Pro exists. Although I'm gonna say I think the boosted performance Switch does exist. I think some of the leaks got mixed up between two different models that were in different points in development. I think we're gonna see it.
I'll let the dream die. What? I'm with you. I'm not letting the dream die.
I'm still.
There's
optimistic.
Still videos to be made.
Yes, I'm still like holding out hope that there's something on the horizon. But. Yeah,
I want to put on my clown makeup while I agree with you.
Exactly.
One more year, next year.
Yeah, next year.
It'll launch alongside Breath of the Wild sequel to Breath of the Wild, official title.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of the OLED model.
Because I know it's like 0.8 inches bigger and like more vibrant and stuff. So I want to see what that actually looks like. I probably won't buy it because I already have a Switch. But I mean, if it really does look that much nicer, maybe I might like sell mine and get it. down the line. But
Do you
but
like
yeah,
the white look to it, or would you go with the red and blue Joy-Con classic look? Or are they
I
both the
like
same to you?
white accessories, but I don't know. I mean, it's just a little boring. The white is kind of cool. It's cool that that's an option. But as far as like the red and blue, like they've already done that. I wish they kind of went with other colors. Like if they were gonna do like a whole new thing.
No
I
joke. I bought white Joy-Con like to do my shell replacement like
I
3 weeks ago, and yeah,
I've changed my Joy Cons too. So these used to be red and blue, but I've made them pink and white.
I was like, I'm gonna be super unique and go all white with my Switch, and then before I get to it, they're like, surprise, a white Switch and a white dock. I'll probably buy the dock, honestly, even though I have two
Just
docks.
tell people you've got the OLED model. You got
Exactly.
the dev kit. You got the dev kit.
But I don't know. I mean, I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger, but I don't really know. I'd have to see like how much 0.8 is, but it just doesn't seem like big enough.
I like that they got rid of the bezels, at least that they kept the same form factor. The bezels are kind of an eyesore on that console. Even the Switch Lite looks a little bit better since they color matched it to the body. It doesn't look as obnoxious, and so so just for anyone that's listening or watching that doesn't know, the biggest differences for this are the where am I? New screen. Okay, so there's obviously the 7-inch OLED display. The whole bottom half of the console is now the kickstand, which is awesome because the kickstand is absolute garbage on the Switch.
Yes, much needed.
It has it's adjustable too, so you can lean it back further and set it at different angles. The new dock is kind of cool. I mean, relatively, it has a wired Ethernet port for better internet connectivity, and then the internal storage is up to 64 gigs from 32 gigs, and then it looks like there's new speaker drivers, and like I actually don't know that they have new speaker drivers. It just says enhanced audio. It could just be like it's more efficient of like dynamics, so it's like it could be the exact same hardware, just they made it position better to they're very vague on that. And then the box is now vertical. Those are the biggest changes.
That's the only reason to buy it, right?
Yeah,
there.
exactly. The box.
The box is vertical.
I'm just gonna buy a box.
Well, I'm getting it. Put your Captain Crunch in there, man. It looks like a cereal box.
It does.
Put your Lucky Charms and get it for your kid. Somebody who gets it for their kid for Christmas, just put some Lucky Charms in there instead of a Switch. Then keep the Switch and.
It's like those like pranks, like the people like buying the PS5s.
When I said I wanted it bigger, like should you roll your eyes a little bit? Like, am I asking for too much?
I think I was agreeing with you. I was like, yeah, it's not much bigger. And I was pulling up on the website too for people that are curious. As far as the form factor, I believe it's almost exactly the same form factor. It's a little bit wider. It's a little bit longer.
Yeah. But yeah, docks
too for people.
Yeah, the old docks work with it, and the new docks work with the old one. So any difference is like marginal.
It's 9.4, the regular, and then the new one's 9.5. Because my first theory, because you brought out the bezels, at first I was like, you know what? That's why we have those big, thick bezels, because they knew later on they would just keep the same casing, but just swap out the screen. But then this new one's a little longer, so that's not quite the case.
Yeah.
Because I was like, man, they're just reusing the old housing. It's like, not quite.
Yeah, something must have had to change a little bit for whatever, like thermals or something. I'm guessing I'm curious at how things move around inside with like the motherboard, because it's tight in there as it is, and so especially with the same processor, same RAM, everything. I did notice that I think it was SpawnWave referenced that they have brand new dev kits going out that have double the RAM.
Yeah.
And so
they haven't actually stated their RAM officially, so we don't know that it has the same RAM. But it probably there's no reason to think.
I think there's an official statement that the processing and RAM are unchanged in this model from previous.
The CPU and the GPU is the same.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. Okay.
Yeah, they're sending out the dev kits with the 8
gigs,
gigabytes of RAM.
That's why people are able to speculate. Yeah, but
Yes, exactly.
dev kits is 8 gigs.
And then the elephant in the room is the 349 up $50 for the new model, which I don't like that, honestly.
No.
I agree.
I feel like that was unnecessary. I feel like most of the hardware is 5-year-old hardware. There's the slightly improved Tegra chip that is still, it was old 2 years ago, and so everything else is 5 years old.
It was old when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even 5 years ago it was already a year or two old, and so there's no reason that. And also OLED panels are now on par with manufacturing costs for LCDs and stuff like that. It's not, there's in the 64 gigs of memory. None of that is enough to create a bump in price. This is either they're setting up for something in the future they're just setting up for the next step so it's not as big of a leap moving forward, or they're just flexing to demand because can't keep a $300 Switch on store shelves for over a year. Why not get an extra $50 from everyone that is now gonna buy this one and also double dipping?
Yeah, I think this is exactly what it is. Is if you look at the 3DS, when the 3DS came out, you had the original model, then you had the 3DS XL, right, or the LL, whatever they call it in Japan, and then we got the new 3DS XL and the new 3DS models, right? I think that's kind of what it is. It's kind of in between the Pro and the original Switch that launched, because I honestly believe that this was the Switch Pro with this screen and the design of the new dock with the Ethernet jack and all that stuff, whatever. I think this was, but they took the guts out of it and put in the old guts. You know what I mean? And they just had to do that because of the pandemic and the lack of conductors and all this other stuff. They had to do it. They had to push it out. I mean,
that's a valid argument that there could have been a shift in between when things, because there's always like this like lag in delays. Usually it's like stuff that gets delayed or gets leaked, and then it's usually like a month or two ahead of that. There could have been like leaks coming out and they had already shifted gears to be like, okay, we're gonna change directions and extend this model for a little bit longer, and then we'll do this later model at some point,
right?
But
sell these old boards, make money on it by raising it $50, and then put it towards the new hardware or the new chipset that's going to go in the Switch Pro.
Wait out the chip shortage a little bit longer and and just milk this for as long as we can. It could be a reason why some of the games we're not hearing about some of the upcoming games like Bayonetta 3 and Breath of the Wild, really, and then
there's no release date still on Breath of the Wild 2.
Metroid, like stuff like that. Like they could be just waiting out to maximize, some newer hardware. But
I think it's such a silly upgrade. My thing is, and it's kind of an intended move, but like to call it the OLED model, and to give them credit, this does make a difference. I think whenever you see it typed out, it is in parentheses, so it's almost like how we call the V2 switch the V2 to distinguish. I'm not saying this is like the name, but like that is so like, dude, OLED is not a buzzword. This isn't 2015. Like from a marketing standpoint, I'm like, general people don't care. Like if you're gonna make your screen out of OLED, just do it. Like you don't have to tell us what the screen's made of. Like I think the only reason they did that is so they can justify $50 higher, make it sound like it's a thing. Because if they didn't call it OLED, they'd just be like, new updated Switch.
Yeah, the
it's
V3.
More expensive.
V3, yeah.
They could have just called it the V3 and been done with it. You know,
It should have been. I think it should have been $300, like from a consumer
yeah.
standpoint, because like you already said, like it's a fair refresh. You're not really giving it any enhancement that it shouldn't just already have. Like you're just making it more modern.
Exactly.
So people would be much more happy if it was $300.
You're bringing it up. I mean, the original Vita had an OLED screen. Like this isn't some like revolutionary like technology that they're incorporating into this device to justify a you know, whatever 20% increase in price. They're like, this is like bare minimum improvement hardware wise that should have been, if you're not doing any sort of like incremental enhancement in performance and everything. Like I was thinking, here was my thought. If they were going to do like a boosted, I don't think they were going to do like a native 4K device, but I thought they were going to bump up the performance, do the OLED screen, and that was going to be the big bump. And then they were going to still sell it for $300, but not include the dock. Kind of like they were going to pull the 3DS and not include the charger. Like when they started doing the 3DSs and they pulled out the charger. And so that was my thing. I thought they were going to still try to undercut everything, and then but withdraw parts of the package. Because I feel like the Switch, when you get it, you're like, you keep pulling stuff out, and it's like, oh, there's the Joy-Con grip, and there's the dock, and then there's the power brick, and then there's like, I feel like, and then there's like the little triggers for the Joy-Cons. Like I feel like they went a little overkill with the auxiliary pieces on the Switch, and I feel like they were gonna pull all that out and then but still keep the price down, but also boost performance. And they did the exact opposite of what I thought they were gonna do. So that's Nintendo for you. And so
it is very traditional Nintendo for sure. I remember when the Game Boy got all these different iterations. I grew up in that era, so I remember when the Game Boy got the Game Boy Pocket, when it went from the original Game Boy to the Game Boy Pocket, and I thought, why would anybody want this? I can do the same thing on mine. You know, and then it went. Japan got the Game Boy Light, which was really cool. Yeah, and I only saw that in magazines back then. You know, we didn't have the internet obviously back then, but you know, and then. I watched a YouTube the other day, Mad Little Pixel. He talked about the life of the Game Boy. It went from like 89 to 2003 with the Game Boy Advance and stuff like that. So it constantly got this upgrade. So it's nothing new for Nintendo to do something like this. I just think it's interesting how far apart they're. I thought we'd see more of it actually. I thought we would see. You know, not just like a better battery from the V2, but maybe an OLED screen back then when they did the refresh. You know, so it's weird that it's so spread out, but I think the Switch will last to the test of time for sure. That Switch name will keep carrying on, and I mean it's the hottest selling console. It could be the hottest selling console of all time. I really believe that.
I mean, if they depends on how long they milk this for. They're definitely marketing to people that have never used a Switch before. Judging from the materials and everything, like they're going for like either they're I think they're double dipping. They're so here's something that bugs me. Every single improvement that they've made to the Switch since the Switch launched has been entirely for handheld players. You know, from the initial Switch, the V2 was only battery life. That's the only improvement. Then the Lite, literally only handheld. Right. Which this is like a year and a half ago. They launched. This is the way to play Switch games. Like that. This is the ideal way to play handheld. You know, on the go Switch. And then now they're like, wait, never mind. This is the ideal way to play Switch handheld because we got the better screen and I mean the only improvement for docked players is the Ethernet port, which you could use the USB 3 port to an Ethernet adapter anyway, so it's not like it's not really that much of a boost. But there's been zero improvement for docked players since in 5 years, and so everything they've done has only been for handheld, and I'm tired of.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. And
honestly, in polls that I've seen, most people play docked, at least in the polls that I have seen.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting that they really aren't focusing more on that docked market. And do you think that this means whatever comes next is going to be docked focused? Do you think they will, or is that a dream?
Maybe. I hope so, because I play docked almost exclusively. I got the Lite so I could play handheld, because I don't like playing handheld on my regular Switch. I've got a Satisfy grip finally, and that's okay. That's okay. But I like playing I like the form factor of the Lite. That's why I got it. I was like, yes, this is what I was waiting for. And then the other thing is Nintendo still is pushing people to play on rooftop patios in tabletop mode with a bunch of people, which I've never seen anyone. I've never been walking through a park and be like, oh, look at those 4 people all playing 4 different Switches. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I know it's like the vision of that is kind of cool.
Nintendo like, one day, maybe one more commercial, and then we'll see it.
You'll see it in the wild actually taking place.
We walk to the park, and I'll just
Every
Because
once in a while, I
thing-
will, however, play tabletop mode in my vehicle with my kids.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
we'll play Scott Pilgrim together, multiplayer,
Sure.
and that's really cool. But I wish I had some sort of
Yeah.
like attachment that would go to the dash,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could put it on. But
No,
Well, I
that's-
think
that's a
what
good
they're
point.
trying to do is that they're trying to like promote like just being able to have technology be like a daily thing in everyone's life. Because in Japan, you know how everything's just like technology based,
Yeah.
and I mean, if you were to go to Japan and visit it, like literally everything's like even the toilets, like it even has sounds on them. Like you could play like a tune while using the toilet, which is weird, but I think that's the thing. Like Japan wants to incorporate like technology into like daily life and make a thing where it's like, okay, like we have this console that everyone can just play in the park, and it's just gonna be like a normal thing.
Yeah.
So to us, like it's probably weird, but then like I think with Japan, like it's just so focused on just like technology and daily living together, just incorporated into like one world.
I definitely think
Okay.
the culture in Japan is more tailored to that type of gameplay for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That's true.
A funny story. I was in Japan in Osaka at a Sega Joyopolis, like this huge
What? That's awesome.
and it was amazing.
Awesome.
The urinals had video games in the urinals where it was like target and you would get a score
Like
on a
Space
screen.
Invaders?
It was like you had a target. I don't remember I think it was a soccer game,
Oh,
and
wow.
it was like it would measure. This might be too much information. It would measure how far you push the little soccer ball in the little goal, and it would tally up your points, and it had like high scores and everything. It was amazing. It would like,
Oh
and they
my
were all
gosh.
linked together. Like you could like see who's like you could enter your name and stuff. It was probably not very sanitary. But it was really cool. And
That's funny.
so yeah.
Well, I mean,
just go-
imagine like if they had like video games at the gym where you're like trying to like punch the punching bag, and then you see this little screen where it's like,
Oh,
okay, this is
yeah.
the person that I hate so much, Nicolas Cage. Yeah, you're going down.
Give it
wrong with
time.
Nicolas
Oh
Cage?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Nick.
He's like the same in like
What's wrong with
literally
Nick
every movie, dude. Like
Come on,
every
Nick.
movie, it's
Get
always
some
the same
variety.
guy. It's almost like
Okay,
Michael
fair.
Cera.
Okay,
Michael
fair.
Cera is like the same guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
I think you're right. It is more focused towards handheld game players. This to do iteration, and I like it because I play handheld mostly. I really do. That's where I find time to actually enjoy my Switch is in handheld because I just don't have time to sit in front of a monitor very long. I have maybe 30 minutes to an hour a day to do something like that.
Yeah.
And I try to get some content done or something or recording done if I'm going to sit in front of the monitor, but I play my Switch more in handheld. So this might be suited for someone who mostly plays in handheld for sure, but it is kind of a disappointment they didn't do something like just a little something else just to give it that boost for when you're playing in docked mode or I don't know.
I'm
It's
gonna
just-
I'm gonna throw another thing out. Do you think that the price point between the Switch Lite and the Switch regular were too tight for Nintendo's liking? The 200 versus 300, and like I feel like if they here's what I was thinking is if they release this OLED model at $300, do you think it would cannibalize Switch Lite sales because it's the portable experience is like much better type of thing. Like people would more jump for $100 more for a dock, like everything, and a better visual, like better screen, everything about it's now improved over the Switch Lite.
Right.
Which now I'm like, why
Wow.
are you selling the Switch Lite? Like, but now at $150 it bump up. That's like a 40% increase in price. It's a lot more than 33%. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out Nintendo's logic, which is usually impossible to do.
They would not be mad. They wouldn't be mad if more people bought a more expensive system over the Lite at all. They would like that to happen.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, they don't care about cannibalizing Lite. Like Lite is there for the people that maybe have smaller hands and they want to save $100 generally.
Yeah.
And so they're getting that market, but
Liz, what were you saying?
good for kids.
This Lite is like good for families like that have small kids, like smaller kids that it's lighter, it's less breakable.
Yeah.
So
I think what's cool about it is it's like, but I will give them credit for this. It's like they did listen to the feedback in the fans. I mean, people did want a direct LAN. They did want a little bit bigger screen. Like they did address all those things. I think the big thing is just that $50 upcharge is because like, hey, you listened to the feedback, you fixed it. I wonder if the vent too. I bet that because the regular vents crack. I bet you they fixed the vent too.
Oh,
and I think they did.
It's like you shouldn't charge us for fixing stuff that kind of should have been there to begin with.
Yeah, these are basic quality of life improvements to a 5-year-old console.
Yeah.
But do you think the regular Switch will go away? Do you think they're going to get rid of the 300, or they're going to replace it for a 250, and they'll actually take the Lite down to 150, 250, 350?
I think they'll keep the Lite at the 200, but I do think the V2 Switch will drop. I do.
I think they're gonna phase it out. At least
they'll
reports.
phase it out, and you'll be able to get it on sale. And
and then I wouldn't be surprised if they end up with like a 200, 350, 500. If they really want to go for it. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's not very Nintendo, but every Nintendo prediction I feel like I've made in the last 3 years has not made sense, and so now I'm reversing. I'm doing all reverse psychology. Nintendo's gonna put out a $600 console. Screw it. I don't know.
Actually, when you think about the Switch Lite, it is a really good value for what it is. It
really
plays
is.
AAA games for. I mean, $200. You have a Switch Lite. You can play all these amazing games like Breath of the Wild and Doom Eternal if you're into shooters. I mean, it's pretty awesome for how cheap it is.
And I like the screen on it. Like I like the pixel density is more. I like that better than the regular Switches. I can see the pixels on the 720p 7 or 6.2 inch screen. Should be, what were you gonna say?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was fixing my Lite. So it makes my
I thought you were like, I thought you were jumping in. I was like, go for it.
If I put my hand there, it recalibrates it.
Sure, yeah, you got your auto exposure. I
was like, stop what you're saying.
I'm not surprised that it's $50 more because, like you said, it's all about demand. And right now, if the current Switch before the OLEM is like still selling at 300 and still like making a ton of money, like they're still, like the shelves are still selling out, then like they can easily make more money by selling it at 350. Like it sucks, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
because
it's the market right now. That's the nature.
Nintendo's got a Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, they know they probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars analyzing how many more millions of dollars they're going to make by bumping up the price versus the drawbacks of the us talking about how crappy it is that they decided to do that.
It's not for everybody.
Yeah, someone analyzed that and they made that call. So,
are you guys going to get one then?
No,
definitely.
I'm not.
2 no's, 1 yes. How about you, Ty?
I'm not. Although I say I'm not, I've said everything that I've bought lately. I've said I'm not going to buy. So I'm not I'm not very confident in my no, but I'm saying no. I'm definitely.
He's getting one.
I'm probably gonna buy the dock.
He's getting one. I feel like he is.
You're gonna get.
Yeah, he's getting it.
He's gonna be
Maybe
like,
not day
"Hey
one,
guys,
maybe
I
day
released a new
two."
video."
How about you, Liz?
He's
Are you
gonna
gonna
get a
get one?
scalped one for $1,000.
Oh no way.
My Switch.
No, I was just kidding.
I don't really plan on it, but like I said, if I see the screen and I like how much bigger it is, maybe like I might trade it
Yeah.
down the line.
Yeah.
I feel like you
think
could
that's
sell a
always good.
Switch for a
Right.
decent
Sorry,
amount.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
But if it's not that noticeable, then I'm fine with my Switch.
That's the only way I could justify getting the new one is if I buy the new one and then next year the Pro comes out and I sell it for the Pro.
Yeah.
They're doing that to
dream
us.
bag.
I'm gonna do it right back to them.
Yeah. A little.
So, and I'll keep my Mario Switch in the box.
Oh, that's a good call. Nettie, do you have a Switch? Do you ever play Switch?
Yeah, Switch. I just don't play it as often.
Yeah. I know you're
Um,
primarily PC.
Yeah, I'm primarily PC. I was mostly on PlayStation, and then ever since I started the whole stream thing, like I converted from console to mostly PC now. So, and at the same time, like I have my work laptop here, and then I have my gaming laptop here. So whenever my work is not that busy, I just go revert to my gaming laptop and I just play games there. You know.
Sure. No.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying to dive into. I built a PC and I barely play it, and I'm like, I need to play more
Yeah.
PC stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here and I have my PC and I have my PS5 plugged into my 4K monitor, and then my Switch plugged in also. And I'm like, I play my Switch on this setup more than anything randomly. I don't know why. It's what I've been drawn to lately. And then my Switch Lite. So. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we Nettie, you go hard in the Dead by Daylight, which it's so cool that game is cross play with everything. Like the first time I played that, we had Max, I think you were on Switch, I was on PC, Russ was on PS5, and then someone was on Xbox. We had all four consoles the first time we ever played that together, and I was like, this is the future. I was like,
Yeah.
And
It's just funny, yeah.
Actually,
Like it's funny because, like, oh, you good? Go ahead.
I was just like, Max is like, I can't see anything. I think you were playing like handheld or something, and like you could not see anything. Which,
Oh, I hate that.
an OLED Switch model could be very good for Dead by Daylight. Just
Yeah.
just
Or it could be
saying.
worse.
Or it could be worse. Yeah, it's like darker darks.
Yeah, like when I first started streaming, like, you know, the thing that I was like aiming for, I was like, okay, well, I play like a variety of games, and I play like I used to play a whole bunch of RPGs, and yeah, I played like Fortnite a lot, and then all of a sudden, like, I played Dead by Daylight for like I think it was like a spoopy stream, because like a whole bunch of people, whenever it's October. Yeah, people always say spoopy stream. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll go play it. I don't mind. And then next thing you know, like I end up being really good at Dead by Daylight, and then now I'm hosting tournaments, and now it's my main game. And it's funny, I try to incorporate it in my streams. Like in the very beginning, I'm gonna do variety, and then towards the end of my stream, I always have to revert to Dead by Daylight because that's where people want to watch the gameplay, you know. So I'm trying to have a little healthy balance between my indie games and platformers and
Definitely.
Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna wrap this up. We're closing in on an hour. Anyone have any last closing thoughts on the Switch
I'm ready.
OLED model? I'm gonna let you guys go around. You can pass. You can say your piece. You can give yourself a shout out. Whatever you want to do before we wrap. So, Liz, any closing thoughts on this? Or predictions or whatever you want to do. It's open floor.
Right, said everything I needed to say.
You're good. You're streaming. I'm gonna force you guys to give yourself a little plug. So you're streaming on Twitch at LizGainsEXP. What are you streaming next?
What am I streaming next? Let's see.
Grind 4.
Grind 4.
Liz, Grind 4.
With Nettie and Keezus.
Yeah, I don't know if we're doing that on next Monday though. Probably the Monday after.
Yeah.
But I am streaming on Saturday because I have some special guests joining from like out of state, so they're gonna
awesome.
be on stream with me.
So be
But
sure I have your Twitch linked in the description. So be sure to follow Liz. Saturday of a special. I saw your tweet about your special guest. So check that out. And then Liz and Nettie and Keezus, who's been on before, is they stream a lot together, which is always fun. You guys get rowdy.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch you guys
I know.
streams.
Or on Mondays.
Yeah, awesome. Max, the floor is yours.
Okay. So I didn't get a chance to give my thoughts on the Switch OLED. So I'm going to give my thoughts and a hot take on the Switch OLED.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So system's garbage. Not worth the extra $50. You get a cool box. I guess if that's your type of thing, extra $50 for a cool box. Hey,
Lucky
it's all
charm.
you. But
Max
I'm not a
coming
fan
with
of
the heat.
it. Now, the hot take is I'm actually glad a Switch Pro doesn't exist. I've always been
Yes.
anti-Switch Pro. I don't think it's happening, man. You gotta stop believing in the dream. You're like those people that have been saying since 2018 that a Switch Pro was happening, and here we are, 2021. Nothing has happened. Nothing will happen. I'm willing to put my channel on the line. A Switch Pro is not happening. Okay,
This
I'm
is
glad
recorded.
that's
This is
what-
recorded just for the record.
I know. I'm ready.
All
I'm
right.
ready. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I'm glad a Switch Pro doesn't exist because I bring up the new 3DS XL. The new 3DS XL, Nintendo marketed that thing when it first was coming out. When they made the new 3DS and the new 2DS XL, when those versions of the system came out, they stopped doing this. But when the 3DS XL initially came out, they marketed it like it was going to be a big upgrade. They were actually going to support the system, exclusives, all this stuff. And they did do exclusives, but there was only, I believe, like 3 or 4 exclusives.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
promoted it like there was going to be some major upgrades, like games were going to run better. And games did run better for that first year. But like Hyrule Warriors Legends is a great example. That game runs garbage on the regular 3DS, but on the new 3DS, runs perfect. Once we got like a year after the new 3DS XL came out, they kind of stopped giving a crap about the new 3DS XL because, well, the regular 3DS sales numbers, you can't really forget that system. You got to appeal to that system more than the new 3DS XL. And the Switch, I think the Switch is over 80 million units, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah.
And that's like 4 years total of all that happening. A Switch Pro, if that was to be released, the numbers cannot get anywhere close to that because we're over halfway near the Switch's life cycle, I would say. Maybe we don't really know when the Switch is going to end, but I think it's safe to say we're halfway done with it at least. And I can't imagine a Switch Pro getting the numbers that Nintendo would want to like promote, be like, we're gonna upgrade, we're going to make things run better, everything's gonna look better. I think that's if Switch Pro was to happen, they would do that for 1 year and then they wouldn't care about the Switch Pro as much because they still have to appeal to the regular Switch owners because the numbers are there. So
You would have to develop for the weakest system in mind, and if you're a developer that doesn't have like a million resources and you don't have a reason to build it for the better Switch, I could see that you're gonna just make something that's optimized for the.
It's the problem Sony's running into right now, specifically because of constraints with production, and that's why they're shifting outside of their generational whole stance that now everything's now cross generation because there's not enough platform on PS5 to sustain these massive developments, and so they're having to now backtrack and incorporate PS4, which that Max is a very, very, very valid point especially with exclusive stuff.
I think the Switch Pro sounds like a great idea, but then after 1 year, I feel like Nintendo's just not going to care because I feel like that's what they did with the new 3DS XL. They really didn't care, and I just see a similar thing happening if they did a Switch Pro. I think it would long term hurt Nintendo and hurt anyone that bought that system thinking all this stuff, and they'd probably regret the purchase because I kind of regret my 3DS XL purchase, the new 3DS, because I was under the influence. They really were going to. This was the future
They
of
were
the
going to
3DS.
support
but
it for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is
Yeah, but they're
So-
really valuable now too. Especially if you
They
have
are.
a special edition, man, they've really shot up in price.
I think
so
only,
hold on
I
to
think
that thing.
only because of the scarcity. Like it's kind of an ironic like value thing where
So
because
I'm
they
anti-Switch
abandoned
for
it so fast.
Mhm.
For sure.
But that's all on my thoughts on the whole thing. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nettie, you're up. The floor is yours.
Most likely not gonna buy it, but then I kind of like think about it because I do have a 3DS, and then my husband bought me a 3DS XL for like one Christmas, and it was this Super Mario Edition one. And I don't know, like I guess comparing between the two, like I prefer playing on a 3DS XL because the screen is a lot larger. So I don't know, maybe if I do see it and see people like playing it in public, like I'd be like, oh, okay, it actually looks pretty good. So there could be a possibility that I'd buy it, but I wouldn't. I'd say no now because I rarely play on the Switch now too. So I don't know. We'll see. Everything's still up in the air. My husband's more of the one who's like, ooh, it's a bigger screen, I'm gonna get it. Like like he'd
sure.
most likely get it if anything.
There will
but
be one in your house at some point.
There's a possibility just because Rolly's like, oh, it's a bigger screen, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Before I forget, Max, Monano Max YouTube, do a lot of Switch focused, a lot of reaction based videos and unboxings and reviews and stuff. So be sure to check him out. Nettie streams at twitch.tv/NettieDorko. A lot of Dead by Daylight. You do tournaments. You stream with Liz and Keezus and all sorts of fun stuff. You're on very regularly. So be sure to follow them too on their channels. Nick, no friendo. Closing thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a roller coaster ride for me because, so my YouTube channel is Official No Friendo, and I do a lot of different things. I talk about updates, or I do handheld gameplay, or just whatever I'm feeling at the time. I'm kind of just riding this. I don't even know what I'm riding yet. I'm just going for it and see where I end up. And since I do a lot of handheld gameplay, because I think there is an audience for it. Some people want to see, like, for instance, Doom Eternal or Immortals Phoenix Rising when it launches on handheld. At least I do. I know I like to watch those kind of videos. So with this OLED announcement, it's like I really don't want it, but I kind of have to buy it to stay evergreen, to the channel and because people are not going to really care anymore to look at the screen that I play on now, in a sense, right? I mean, the dock gameplay I do is fine. I could use my old Switch, but they're going to want to see how the OLED compares to the older model. So it's a little disappointing to say the least, that there wasn't some sort of jump in CPU and GPU. But maybe Max is right. Maybe it's just it's too late in the Switch's life cycle for them to release a mid-fresh like a PlayStation 4 Pro or an Xbox One X, right? Maybe it's too late because of the pandemic or whatever happened, and they'll just end up releasing like a Switch 2, one day. So I don't know. I have a lot of mixed emotions about it. It's just I kind of feel like I have to get one in a sense because of the channel, and like to do an unboxing of it. I want to do all that stuff for the audience that I've gained. So yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride to say the least, but I probably will end up getting one because my favorite console of all time has been the Switch.
Yeah,
it was the Super Nintendo for all these years. I love the Super Nintendo, but the Switch, just something about it, man. I had that like Nintendo,
it has the
magic.
Nintendo magic, yeah, for sure.
It does.
So it's been
so
gone. I feel like even the Wii didn't like it was. The Wii was cool, but it still felt like there was a lot of. It didn't have that same.
It didn't. No.
No magic.
Since the GameCube, I kind of fell off Nintendo a little bit. Like I love the GameCube, and then the Wii came out, and I wasn't into the waggle controls, and then the Wii U came out. I was like, oh, okay, we get HD Mario games and HD Zelda games. This is awesome, but it just was missing that something else. and then the Switch.
I'm still,
Obviously,
I picked up a Wii U. I'm still confused how to play 2 players on that thing. You have to use a Wiimote for player 2, right? Okay, that's weird.
Yeah.
I could not. It took me like I had to search it, like look it up to be like, how do I play 2 players on this thing? Which is
the
just
Wii U Pro
strange.
controller is a really good controller.
Yeah.
I would recommend getting one of those.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I
They're
don't have
pretty
any of
cheap.
those, and that I did see that too. But what was I just gonna say? I'll come back to it. Oh, your YouTube channel. I see you pop up on my Instagram, and you like have a video out when there's like 12.0.1 like firmware release with like a quick like update. Like it's so cool. Like I'm like, oh, like I find out about Switch firmware updates because you've already made a video on it. Like you've already analyzed it, made a video on it, and put it up. Like you and Max.
I find it very fascinating. I love the update videos. I don't know. I gravitate towards those when I'm on YouTube. So that's kind of been how I've been creating my channel. Is what do I like to watch, right?
Exactly.
And then I just and maybe I can create an audience from it. But yeah,
I never really.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you're fine.
I was gonna say I never connected the dots until now. Like, yeah, you're very like the technical side of Switch. Like, what does it look like on this compared to this? That's a technical thing. And then you're like, hey guys, there's an update for this. And yeah, I like that. That's cool. Like you said, it's like the source for like the what's changed.
Yeah, it's very
and then
very
like with games
topical
and stuff,
Yeah, and
when games are updated, there's new features in the game, or it might run a little bit better. I save that footage on my hard drive and then just compare the two, and talk about it. What I think is different, So
that's awesome. Well,
it's fun. I love doing it.
I look forward to your inevitable Switch OLED model unboxing video.
Yeah, it won't be as good as Shibby's, but it'll be there. He does a good unboxing.
And that leads us to you, Shibby. Thank you for being here. This is your first episode. It was perfect, topical for you to be here.
Thanks for having me.
What's your closing argument or thoughts on this?
Oh, I mean, like you just said, I've been doing Nintendo Switch related unboxing, so I've got to get one. Not in a bad way at all. Like, it's just what kind of sways me to do it. If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I would have more of that dilemma. I do like having the latest and greatest. I'd really have to weigh the benefits and maybe even see it, because I don't care like so much about the screen size and the OLED. I'm really about the frame rates and the resolutions, because some games can't even hit 720. Can't even hit 30 frames per second.
Exactly.
So obviously, I would prefer more performance, but I'm definitely gonna be getting it. I think the white looks really cool. I really do think the white looks really, really cool, and I like the dock. Looks a little bit more futuristic. They're kind of ripping off PlayStation 5.
There's the white and black theme for sure.
But black and white is like classic. So
I wish they would have done.
I think it's cool.
I wish they would have done this, which is what I'm doing. The white, actually, the full.
What is that?
It's a back shell for the Switch that's all white. I was going all white with just minor black accents, like the buttons, for my reshell before this was announced. And so I wish they would have done that.
Oh yeah.
So because the red and blue dock is still black, and then the white one is a white dock. I wish they would have done a white body. I feel like. They obviously have the means
that would
to
look really cool
with the red Mario body. I feel like if they did all white, but including the body, that would have. I don't know. I would have dug that.
There's going to be different iterations too. So I've already seen people saying, "I'll get it, but I'll wait for the the Kirby edition or the
there will be
Prime
special
4.
special editions for sure.
The Kirby edition will suck you in for sure.
Oh God.
Zing. So Shibby 120 on YouTube, you do a lot of Switch unboxing, Nintendo content. I know we plugged you at the beginning. What do you have coming up next?
Twitch.
Oh, Twitch.
I do Twitch. I stream Cozy Grove every Thursday, and then I stream other games every Sunday. It looks like, according to my Instagram poll, Stardew Valley was voted 10. Everything else was voted 2. So it looks like I'll be doing Stardew Valley on Sunday.
Classic. Very, very good game. Yeah,
Yep.
be sure to follow Shibby everywhere. Um, I'm going to be quick because we're a little bit over from what I promised everyone. I'm not sad. I'm a little disappointed. Maybe I'm more sad than disappointed. I wish
Okay,
I was
Dad.
hoping. Yeah, I'm the disappointed dad. I wish there was a performance boost. Just like you said, like I don't want to play a 340p handheld game on an OLED screen at 22 frames per second. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that. Like I don't know. I feel like almost every good-looking game right now is coming out below, like in the 3 to 500 dynamic resolution stuff, and it's still running at 20 to 30 frames per second. So I feel like the least of their concerns right now was a better looking screen. But I understand what they're doing. Like I understand it's a business. This is what probably every marketer was pointing to. This was their biggest potential growth, etc. Who knows what's in the future? I think that there's going to be a performance boost at some point in the future that's not necessarily a full generation or something more in line of a half step to just boost current games and not alienate current players, because then they'll triple dip on everyone that just bought an OLED Switch. Maybe, but I don't
We'll
know.
say they have more incentive this time than with the 3DS because they have third-party support in such a big way, and the gap in performance is a little bit smaller than it was back then. So
The other thing
I'm not gonna let the dream die.
Yeah, I'm still rah Switch Pro, but the other thing is this could have been a pivot because of the issues that Sony and Microsoft are having putting out new consoles because of the chip shortage. They could have just been like pivoted to let's ride this out because we can produce this in volume versus like what Sony and Microsoft end up doing, putting out a new console and then they can't keep up with stock, and then they have shortages with software, and it's causing this weird like issue with third parties, whether they develop for the new platform or the old platform or both, and then it's like holding back. And like Nintendo could have just been like, we'll just keep going as we are and make an extra $50 per unit for now.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can go to a
Suckers.
GameStop down the road, and there might be one or two Switches sitting on the shelf. You don't see one or two PlayStation 5s or Xbox One X, Series X on the shelf at all. So they have the upper hand going into the holiday season with this OLED because they can just put that same board in there.
Yeah,
that's already been
you
produced.
can just keep
and boom,
keep churning it out. There's no
Yep.
shortage in displays, so
exactly.
They've already gone into mass production with those, so
pretty smart, really.
Yeah,
disappointing but smart.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it. Thank you guys for being here. We're gonna wrap this episode. It was a fun one. It's always good to talk about Switch stuff. One more time around: Liz at Liz Gains at EXP, Max at Monono Max, Nettie at Nettie Dorco, Nick at Official No Friendo, Shibby at Shibby120. Thank you guys for being here. We're back next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. Also, audio versions on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks for being here. Come hang out in the chat next week. Thank you for everyone in the chat this week. You guys are awesome. Marcus, Neander. I see all my panel was jumping in the chat. I have to go back. You guys was very active. Sally, Cryosneasel, everyone. Beach Pizza Gaming. Thank you guys. Have a good evening. Thank you guys again. Good night.
See you later.
And we're out. Bye.